Hello everyone, welcome to the stream, and welcome to Eco. It's been a long time since Eco's been popular among my group, but Eco Beta 9 is coming out in the next few days, actually, Wednesday, this coming week, and that's the September the 9th, and I wanted to first come in here and show off or go through the tutorial, because a lot of systems and stuff have changed in this version, and especially for those who might not have played Eco since version beta 7, there's definitely a lot that has changed then. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go through and go through the tutorial and kind of just talk about how the game works, what it's about, and everything, and then we're going to jump into the world that we're going to use for the KOS and Caledon community server. Hey Lana, hey Phasian, welcome to the stream, guys. And then if we have time, or maybe we'll make time, I can also open up the world that I've been working on and show some of the new buildings. My test world, that is, and show some of the new buildings and stuff that make up some of the new features in beta 9. So I'm going to do one other thing before we get started. Give me just a moment, and then I'll get started. Okay, never mind. I don't have to do it. I've already done it. Excellent. Past Wally was very helpful. Okay, so as you can see, Eco is a voxel builder program, kind of based off of the Minecraft style or family of games. It is an open world adventure game. It's not really a survival game because there really is no way to die as the player. But it's definitely an open world game, sandbox, a little bit of adventure, and a lot of, well, ecology and economy, hence the name Eco. They highlight more the ecology part than the economy part, but there's a huge economic component to this game. Some of the things that new or returning players will notice that are different is some of the building materials. In the past, we had things like mortared stone, which might be some of what this is. I'm not sure. I can't tell from very far away. We had things like brick, red brick, like this, and we had things like what else do we have? Concrete. That might be what the lighter stuff is here. It's hard to tell. And we had a really weird color of asphalt that was like almost blue-gray. And as you can see, there's a lot of stuff here for returning players to notice, including this is not limestone, at least not entirely limestone. This is a sort of a composite stone that's a very end-game material, or a late-game material, I should say, but it's called ashlar stone. And one of the cool things with this stone, as well as the sort of lumber equivalent, which is composite lumber, is that depending on what type of wood you make it out of, it looks different. So this is ashlar limestone, and this is probably another ashlar stone here that has a different look to it. It's probably, actually I don't know what it is. That might be, I can't tell. It's too far away to tell. But there's all this different kinds of stone. That's a different kind of stone there, maybe a granite or something. And we might have a basalt or something here. They have these new metal roofs that you can put up. It could be ashlar sandstone, I suppose. This might be the sandstone. I can't tell. Anyway, there's 6 different types of stone, I think. Sandstone, limestone, granite, basalt, shale, and gneiss. There's 7 or 8 or something different types of wood. I'm not going to remember them all, but your usual like oak, cedar, birch, different kinds of pine. There's fir, there's redwood. Let's see what there's 3 or 4 different types of conifer tree, and there's a few more deciduous trees too that I can't remember all the names of right now. There may be 8, 9, maybe even probably about 8 or 9 different types of wood that you can use all to make this late game stuff. So that's kind of a bit for returning players. For new players, and for returning players too. For new players, you start out with things like basic, like mining or chopping down trees, picking plants to eat, things like that, and then you eventually work up into industry. And the objective of the game, at least ostensibly, besides the whole, building a really fancy city like the one here in the game, the objective of the game is to shoot down a meteor. And oh, you know what? I don't know if I actually spawned a meteor when I spawned my solo world. Shoot. I may have to do it with a command. I'll do it with a command if I can remember what the command is, because we'll need to actually see the meteor. I might have forgotten to do that. But anyways, so if you've played Minecraft before, this is a game you would like. If you've played, let's see, some of the other types of games like that, this should be a game you would like. And it also, like I said before, it has some ecological stuff which we're going to take a look at, and it also has an economic component that the server that we're setting up for the Catherine Sky and Caledoran community is going to take advantage of. So let's go ahead and jump into this small world that I created here that has just the basics right now, just to kind of do the tutorial and move on, or move through the tutorial, just to kind of show off how the game works and whatnot. Okay, so the first thing in the tutorial is, of course, how to move. So WASD is your moving keys. Tab lets you have control of the mouse cursor. Otherwise, the mouse cursor is your, like, you're panning around, you're looking around. Why is it not? There it goes, WASD. And then space to jump, of course, kind of a standard aspect to a game here. And then we'll move on to, okay, we need to put down our little campsite, which is in our inventory. That is button B here. And that's here, the starter camp. It is kind of like your first component building that you get as you... I'm going to pick up some plants too while we're at it. Tomatoes are good eaten, so we're going to go and pick those. Some people like this first-person view. Other people like the third-person view. That's here. There's a sidebar to your backpack here that you can show the third-person view. So you can, if that is more comfortable for you view-wise, you can do that. You can also edit your character. You do this when you start the game. You can choose masculine or feminine look, skin shade and color, hairstyle shade and color, facial hair if you want it, eye color. You can tint the color of your backpack. Let's scroll over there. You can tint the color of your shirt, and you have a whole, RGB kind of color picker here. So actually it's HSL, I think, actually technically color picker. Belt color, pants color, and actually there's a little bit more to choose from here when you're starting rather than now. You have a few different shirt choices, a couple of different belt choices, a few different pant choices, including shorts, and a couple of different boot choices. And you can set, like I said, the color for all those. But since I already did this once, I don't get to choose those from this point on. I have to craft them if I want the different ones. So anyways, we come back in here. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to show, a couple things I want to show everyone. There is a head bobbing when you're in first person, depending on if you have some motion issues, you may want to disable head bobbing. And then there are some invertebrates in the game, including spiders. And they can come down on a line in front of you in the screen here. So if you have arachnophobia, make sure you check this box. And then, of course, there's the usual audio, although I'm not hearing any music. I don't know why I'm not hearing any music. Interesting. There is a pretty nice soundtrack to this game. The music, I played some of it during the countdown, but there's a pretty nice soundtrack to this game. So if you enjoy game music, this is one for you. Of course, controls for movement and whatnot are all here. Control is crouch, although it actually doesn't work as crouch, I don't think it works to swim down. Maybe they're going to put it in as crouch. I remember that it said crouch, but I don't think it actually works. Graphics options, of course, and then working on the tutorials. So, yeah, it doesn't work actually for crouch, but it does work when you're swimming to swim down. Okay, so we're kind of walking around here. There are a lot of biomes, by the way. We have a grassland biome that we're in right now. We're on the edge of a desert biome. Here's a couple of forest biomes here in the darker greens, different forests. There's a third one here. Up here we have some ice biomes around the mountains, and then more forest up there, and there's a few different types of forest. There's 3 or 4 different types of forest. A warm forest, which contains trees like birch and cedar. A cold forest, which is where you'll find the conifer trees. A rainforest, and that might be it. Oh, there's also wetlands that doesn't have any trees, but it has other plants and such. Okay, so here's some fruit we can pick off of some prickly pear off of the cactus. There are also lots of new animals in the game. If you've never played before, there were a lot of animals. Geez, oh Pete's. But if you are coming back to the game, there are many new animal species. I think we had the elk, the bison, maybe like foxes and wolves before, and turkeys, I think, turkeys and rabbits, and they've added a bunch of new animal species, especially in some of the new forest biomes. So we're just going to kind of run around here a little bit, and I want to actually place down this campsite, but I'm looking for a spot that might be good to place it down at. I want it to be kind of near some trees, because we're going to need to chop some wood. Maybe up here would be good. And I actually don't like the third person, so I'm going to change it back to first person. First person is much more comfortable for me to play in, but as I said, that's up to you. So this looks like a good spot up here. There's a couple of trees very nearby. We're going to need those. Ferns are also edible. Pumpkins are edible, and we'll deal with these flowery bits here in a moment. Here's some rice as well. Nice. This is actually just a decorative plant. It doesn't serve any edible purpose, but you can use it for a couple of different things later if you want to. So here's our campsite. I selected it by pressing the 1 key on my keyboard. You have 1 through 0 for your hotkeys here. And as you can see, it's highlighting a couple of things. So first of all, it's giving me a ghost of the campsite and the little stockpile that comes with it. So I can see kind of where I want to place it. And then also it's doing a little bit of a highlight on the ground. And that highlight is to signify the land which I'm going to claim by putting down the campsite. So when I put down this campsite, I will now claim 4 plots of land in the area here, and I'll show you those in just a moment. Also, these are huckleberries. They are not blueberries, they are huckleberries, and they are just like blueberries, more or less. Okay, so the campsite, as you can see by the next tutorial here, the campsite includes a bed. And one of the features that's newer... Oh, hey, Wandable, welcome. We are playing Eco tonight. What were you playing tonight? Okay, so the campsite includes a bed, and the bed has a sleep functionality here, and I actually have that turned on. So if you climb into the bed and you pick the sleep option there, then you will sleep, and time will pass faster, and than it normally would, and that's good for when you're playing single player or a small group, so you can kind of rush through some downtime and get to some more interesting components of the game. Maybe you're kind of stuck at a point because you're trying to do some research or something along that line. You need to wait. Oh, 2 hours, 1 life, nice. Hey, Rainy Dash, welcome. I assume you came in through the raid. Glad to have you here. Okay, so we did the sleep component. Now let's take a look at the property. So we can open the tent here using the E key. E is kind of your general action key. In the tent you have, well, it wants us to click on the authorization tab. So in the authorization tab here, it automatically created a deed for us. So we can click on that, and the property deed contains 4 plots, and it's owned by me, and it has a color tint to it, which we'll take a look at in just a moment. But I can edit this so that I can see where that deed is and make changes to it if I need to. And then I can also delete it if I want to, which I don't. And it contains 4 plots, which are 100 square meters. This game is easily based around well, hold on a second. Let me grab some stuff out of here. So in the campsite here, there's some storage, and in the storage we have a few different things here. I want to move some of this food out of the way. Actually, I want to also pop. Well, I'll do it in a minute. Let's move some of this food out of the way so I can put these tools in here. So we need an axe. So we'll take the axe here. It wanted me to put the stone axe in my toolbar and select it, so I'll select it just to clear the tutorial. There's also a shovel here, and a hammer, and a pickaxe. And those are your 4 basic tools that you start the game with. And we also have this property tool here, with land claim stake. And then there's also these land claim papers. And then we also have a torch and some more food. And I'll just click that and it'll put it in my inventory. If you click something in an inventory here, it'll put it into an available space either in your toolbar or in your backpack if your toolbar is full. I want to finish dragging some of this stuff out of the way here. Lots of food that I picked up along the way, and these are actually pumpkin seeds. When I picked that pumpkin, or those pumpkins, I yielded 2 pumpkins here. I actually picked up some pumpkin seeds as well, and the pumpkin seeds are used later when it's time to make to plant crops. And we also got some fern spores, which are the seed for a fern plant. When we picked up that fern, let's see. I want to organize this a little bit more. Okay, so the tent itself has a storage built into it, and that's this campsite. And then you can also see there's a storage nearby called Wally's Tiny Stockpile. That's this. That's a separate storage unit, but they can be linked together here in the storage. So you can see the campsite from the stockpile and the stockpile from the campsite. What else is on here? We have the bed we talked about. You can also access the bed through this bed tab and click the sleep button. Clam bake? Yes. That might be a good recipe for later. Here's the music. It's back. Okay. This is a song that's been in the game for a while, but I really like the kind of feel of the music in this game. I know it's kind of peppy and upbeat and fun. And kind of keeps me animated or whatever into the game. So there are a couple things we can craft here at the campsite. We don't have any materials yet. As you can see, we need 3 logs and we have 0, and we need 12 stone and we have 0. And the same thing with the workbench here. We can craft these items, which we'll get to in a few moments, but we need to go gather some materials in a bit. We looked at storage. Credit I'm going to save until later. But credit is is part of the economy system here. And then the status of the object, if there are problems with it, if this light's red, for example, you want to come to the status tab and see what's up. This tells you that the table is in good shape though, and if it's red, it's not in good shape. But there's no real restrictions other than that the tent is placed on solid ground. So we did that, so we're good. Okay, so I want to pick some more plants. Actually, I want to use the shovel because these are camas bulbs, and camas bulbs you can dig with the shovel. And you get a... Where'd it go? Oh, here they are. You get a camas bulb. The interesting thing about camas bulbs and a couple of other plants like rice and beans is there are no seeds. The plant itself is the seed. So when it's time to plant a camas field, you want to plant the bulb, or a rice field, you want to plant the rice grain, which kind of makes logical sense. I mean, those items are... that's how they work in real life, so why not? Okay, so I activated the shovel, so I've gotten the digging tutorial here. We want to be able to move dirt around, and you can do that with the shovel just by digging out a voxel block, and then you can put it right back in, or put it wherever you want it. You can move it around, you can carry it around. I was saying earlier that this game's laid out on a 1 meter voxel size, so each voxel block is a meter, and I want to activate that land claim stake, not lamb clam bake, to show you a bright green. Let me back up a little bit to show you a bright green claim area that I've just made when I put down my tent. So that property belongs to me, and I can E on it. Use my action key E, and I can see that same deed here that you could see before when I was in the tent, but this is my property. I can claim more property by right-clicking with the land claim stake, like this, and that used one of my land claim papers to activate, or to claim. So I have a limited amount of these, and I can get more later. but I have a limited amount to start with. I have the 4 that I got by default by placing my tent, and then I have 6 more that I can spend wherever I want them in the world, but usually I put them kind of nearby and expand out. And if you made a mistake and you didn't want this plot of land, you can left-click to unclaim it. Oh, and by the way, when I was digging earlier, right-click to dig, left-click to place. So there's beets here, which is nice. There's a lot of edible food. That's good. What do we have here? Tutorial is this? Ah, the meteor. And I don't have a meteor. Let me see if I can do a command, an admin command here. Since this is my solo world, I can access these commands. Let's see. /meteor spawn. A wild meteor has appeared, as you see appear in this chat log, or this, it's not just a chat log, but it's like an action log. And I can also press C on the keyboard to activate a separate chat window where I can filter the different types of messages that I'm getting if I don't like all the messages. But I don't need that because I'm getting the messages up here. Oh, geez. I'm getting the messages up here anyway, and I might as well turn off the chat and show you guys the actual screen instead of hiding part of the screen. I want to try and find that meteor. It may take it a minute to come up. That is the moon, not the meteor. That will not kill you. The meteor, on the other hand, might. Let's see. The meteor, I think, rises in the south. So if we see it, it'll probably be in that direction. You can see down here in my mini-map, my little avatar. It's hard to see a little bit, but you can see my little avatar with the arrow on it pointing south right now. Or not my avatar, but my marker, my land marker here. So we're gonna probably just skip this. I'll look for the meteor in a little bit, but it should appear at some point. Let's try this other tutorial. Stockpiles. Okay, so we want to chop the tree. Let's activate the axe, and let's chop this tree here. You want to chop with the left click. I think it's 10 chops for a birch or a cedar tree. And your character will holler out timber. When you chop the tree, you get, of course, the trunk. You also get this stuff called tree debris. We want to chop the log, of course, into pieces. There's a little trick here for returning players that returning players know, but sometimes if you double chop on a piece, most of the time you get that this log cannot be sliced any smaller, but sometimes it'll actually split. And sometimes when it splits, you might get an extra log or two. So that's a little tip for new players and something that returning players will likely remember. So to pick up the pieces, you press E, and you can see that I'm picking up each log. Each one is worth about 5, sometimes more, sometimes less. Or not more, but sometimes less because they're smaller pieces. So I'm going to pick all these up, put them in my stockpile. That cedar tree just gave me, if I E on the stockpile, 36 logs, which is pretty good. And then there's all this tree debris laying around. That's pollution. If you don't clean this up, you are polluting. Just keep that in mind. The way to clean it up is, of course, to chop it with the left click. And as I'm chopping it, you should notice in my toolbar down there, my hotbar, I should say. Oop, I just ran out of food. Or out of energy, which we'll get to in a second. I'm picking up some wood pulp and some cedar seeds. So another advantage to chopping your tree debris is getting seeds to replant the tree. We just got a new tutorial here called Forage for Food. I need to find a beet. Let's find a fat beet here. Okay, so I now have collected huckleberries, beets, fiddleheads, which is ferns, and rice around the world. And I need to click on this, and it just unlocked my nutrition meter. The nutrition meter is how you know how well you're doing. What's the word? Nutritionally, I guess. Yeah. How your nutrition is doing, and if it gets smaller here, if you see I'm mousing over and I have 0 out of 3,000 calories in my stomach. Effectively think of this as your stomach. If I have 0 out of 3,000 calories in my stomach, I'm starving. Now, you don't die from starvation. All that happens is you're unable to move very fast, and you're unable to chop or dig or do anything like that. I think all you can do is pick plants. Let's see. So it's telling us track your calories and nutrients here. Click next. The better quality and more balanced your diet, the faster you gain experience. So, as you can see, we have a 20-point experience multiplier. and we'll get into experience here in a little bit, but that's because our nutrition is very well balanced. We have 1 point in each, but it's well balanced because these numbers are all the same. And there are 4 nutritional components to food, and different foods have different nutritional components to them, as well as calories. Actually, it's telling us about that now. So there are vitamins, carbs, protein, and fat, and optimal balance is 25% of each nutrient. And then as you work, the pie shrinks, and then as you eat, the pie goes back up. So we're going to eat a raw tomato, which is fine. It gives you some carbs, lots of carbs, a little bit of protein, some vitamins, and a few calories. So we'll eat one of those. That consumed most of my tutorial here, and we need to find something with fat. And a piece of raw fish would contain some fat, so let's eat that too. And now we've finished this step in the tutorial. And we have gained a few calories here, 439 calories. And our balance is a bit off now. We're low on vitamins. Yeah, sushi. We're low on vitamins, we're kind of low on fat, and we're doing really well on protein and pretty well on carbs. So we need to find something. If you look through the nutritional values here, you might be able to find something that has a decent amount of vitamins, but you also might not. Oh, we'll eat a raw huckleberry. That'll be good. That balances it out a little bit more. Maybe we can eat some more of these and make that pie a little bit bigger. Okay, so let's get back to cleaning up some of this tree debris, because it's actually good to do. And the stump is also a source of pollution. As long as there's a stump here, this ground right around it cannot support plant life, so you want to remove the stumps. And the stumps take as many chops to remove as the log took, or the tree took, to chop down. So it'd be 10 chops right now. And I got to take a drink while that was happening. So let's go ahead and jump back into the tutorial maybe. Let's see if we can find maybe the meteor. Don't see it. I wonder if... Let's see. Ah, okay, good. I forced it into view. And there's a cutscene. Let's watch the cutscene. It's up there now. Okay. The meteor is in a spiral orbit around the planet, set to impact within 30 real days. Together with your fellow citizens, you'll need to advance civilization to a level of technology capable of stopping the meteor. I like the artwork too, by the way. Since all your resources to do this come from the environment, you could very well destroy the planet before the meteor even impacts. To navigate these twin dangers, you'll need to collaborate with your fellow citizens to build a thriving economy tempered by a well-run government. You'll create cities, markets, and a thriving industry. You'll elect leaders and pass laws to grow your economy and protect the ecosystem. You'll advance technology and acquire massive power over the environment. Ultimately, your success will depend on your intelligent collaboration and governorship among your fellow citizens. Bayesian. Oh, that's the same thing. Time to get started. So this game is, of course, very collaborative. Right now I'm playing in a single-player world just to do the tutorial, and I recommend everyone do something with the tutorial, even if it's, of course, just watching this right now. But to kind of understand how the game works, it's good to do the tutorial and learn what the tutorial's like. So, impact in 29 days, 23 hours, 51 minutes, blah, blah, blah. As long as the game is running, the server is running, it's counting. And also, you can see here that this ground where the tree fell has been sort of damaged. and the grass will grow back into it, but it'll take a little while. Okay, so let's continue this tutorial by doing this one here. Crafting is done through a system called work orders. Work orders can be queued up and rearranged as they progress. Some recipes use tagged ingredients, like the wood tag here. It means that the order will accept any of the listed items, and we'll look at that in a minute here. Work orders also need labor to complete. Labor costs calories and may require certain specialties. Labor is one of the new features, by the way, in 9.0. Work orders will use nearby tables and storage to fulfill work orders. Storage links can be managed by interacting with the tables. You can order more products than you have ingredients. Work orders will pause and resume depending on available resources. Okay, so we open the tent. You need to find the workbench recipe here and order it. It takes 10 logs to make. We have 36. And it costs 50 labor. And so this labor symbol with the hammer, that's just generic labor. Anyone can do this kind of labor no matter what skill you have, what specialty you have, where you're at in the game. This will always cost 50 labor for anybody to do. So I'm going to click to order the workbench, and it puts it down here in the project queue. There's only one project here in the queue, and this is its details here, and it shows that we have all the resources in the blue bar here to make the one workbench. We can also make more than one here. It also tells you the amount of time it's going to take, but we also need to add some labor, and so that's going to cost us calories to do, but we just need to click the work button. Clicking the work button adds up to 100 units worth of labor, which is 100 calories in this case. We only needed 50, so it only added 50, but that adds the labor needed, and now we are crafting the item. The amount of time is captured here, of course. Green is done. We had all the labor bar was full with the yellow there, and the resource bar is blue. And you can see it counting down here as well, as up here are the most recent work orders started. There's like 5 of them that will appear across the top. Okay, so now we have, what do we got here? Okay, so we need to pick up that workbench. It will be crafted and put into storage somewhere. In this case, it got put into the stockpile for some reason. So I'm just going to click on that. Nope, I'm not. I need to put some of this food away, or maybe these seeds. We'll put the seeds away here into the campsite. Here. We got some huckleberry seeds too. We got some beets. We'll have to cook those in a bit. And we got beet greens, which are used for making salads and such later on. Oh, by the way, mousing over an item gives you this very, very detailed tooltip. First of all, of course, the amount of nutrition you will get from it, where you can get that item from, the skill that you can take to benefit your yield of that item. So by going into the gathering skill, we would be able to get 40% more beet greens every time we picked a beet plant, in this case. Which recipes you can use to make, to use this item in, I should say. And you can mouse over. It only shows you 4 of them, so you can mouse over to show all of them. And then this new feature called tags, which we saw a moment ago with the logs. This is the tags that this item applies to. So later on, if you're doing a recipe like this one here that says, oh, you need logs, the wood tag, you can see, okay, this item is used in these tags. And you can also see, here's all the different types of wood. Actually, there are 10 types of wood. As you can see, there are a lot of different types of wood, and each one looks different in that endgame wood composite lumber wooden style. So you can see all the different types of trees here, including stuff that actually isn't trees, like saguaro cacti and Joshua's. Those are found in the desert, and those aren't technically trees, but as far as this game is concerned, they are trees. At least they produce logs. Okay, so we need to place it on the workbench. Did I pick it up? I did not. Okay, I'm going to just click it, and it'll drop down here in a free spot in my hotbar. And I'm just going to press that item on the hotbar, and then you'll see, of course, the ghost of that item, and to see where you want to place it. So I'm going to place it right there. And then we need to E to use the table. And like the campsite, this has recipes, but this has a lot more recipes. So there's a scroll bar here, or you can mouse wheel to look at all the recipes, including ones down the bottom that we can't make yet because we don't have the skills. Here, to make this a rostra, we need to have the basic engineering skill to make it. It can be made at our table by somebody with the basic engineering skill, or this with the farming skill, the hunting skill, etc. But we can't actually do it because we can't put that labor on. If you look at speaking of the labor, you look at these labor icons, the generic hammer is that same generic labor that anybody can do. But then down here on these specialized recipes, this one we need 300 basic engineering labor here in order to do this. I'm not a basic engineer, so I can't place this. I can't create this item on my own. So we need to find the hewn log recipe because we have logs. That's the hardwood hewn log arrow, which we can't do because we didn't chop down a hardwood tree. We chopped down a cedar tree, and these 3 are the hardwood trees. And then these 4 are the softwood trees. And then the other 3 trees, Joshua, spruce, and something else that I'm not remembering which one it is now, don't count as either hardwood or softwood. They just count as wood. I don't remember what the other one was. What was the other one? Palm, maybe. Probably. Could be. So the hardwood hewn logs have a look. The softwood hewn logs have a look. And then the generic hewn logs have another look entirely. So we need to make some hewn logs. And we could make one, or we could make more than one. Each hewn log, by the way, mousing over an ingredient in a recipe will tell you each hewn log requires 2 wood to craft, and we have 26. So let's make like 10 of these, and you can type here, or you can use the arrow key, whatever floats your boat, and then order. So now I have a project of hewn logs, of 10 hewn logs, as you can see down here in the project queue. It's going to take me 2 minutes and 30 seconds total to craft it. The resources are only gathered for one recipe, or one craft, I guess, of the recipe. So we only grabbed 10% of the resources because we need to make one hewn log, and the other 90% will collect one set at a time. This is different from the way that it used to work, where when you set one of these recipes up, it grabbed everything and kind of hid it into an invisible pocket dimension that did not, where the items didn't take up space anymore in your storage. Now they continue to take up space until they're actually being processed. Okay, so we want to add work to this. I can click with just the left click of the mouse to add 100 labor. I can control click to add 500 labor, or I can alt click to add all of the labor. And at this point, I can do either one, or I can just keep clicking to add 100 more units of labor to the table. And you can see that it deducted 100 calories from my stomach. So I need to eat some more stuff here. Okay, so while that's crafting, let's switch tutorials into the claiming one that I've already kind of done. We got the stake. We need to select the stake, and then we need to claim the land again that I already did. Sorry, I should have remembered that was part of the tutorial. And then I went unclaim with the left click, and you can also control and shift to do some different different deed actions. So if I control right click, I'll create a new deed instead of adding this plot into this deed. That's really useful if you want to create this land and then maybe sell it or something like that. And then the shift, if you're kind of way over here a little bit, if you shift right click, it'll make sure that it adds it to that deed over there instead of creating a different deed for it, which might happen by default. Now what are you using the emojis for? What do we got here? A nom and a nom. Yeah, I need to eat. Yep. Oh, I did eat. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Are we back to this? Yeah, so you can pick up the completed hewn logs from the stockpile. So the workbench storage tab has the campsite and the tiny stockpile also selected here in it. And we can output, and it'll output the items into an appropriate storage. Items that can be stored in a chest, like voxel items, will go into the campsite because it's first, and then if it's a voxel item like a piece of hewn log, for example, it'll actually put it into the stockpile because it can't be put into a chest type storage. So let's go over to the stockpile, and you can see the hewn logs are in here along with the regular logs, and we can pick those up. We only have 8 of them done. Okay, you need to get out of the way. You can drag this window around. By the way, you can also resize it if you need to, and click on the hewn logs, and now they're in my hand, just like the logs were before. And so now we need to do the building tutorial. Many crafting stations in Eco require enclosed rooms to work. Building requires both a hammer and a material to place blocks. The hammer can place different forms of the same material. Change the form type in the building menu by pressing F while holding a hammer. And all the forms can be split into a variety of fill types. Change the fill type in the building menu by pressing F while holding the hammer. In order to be considered a room, a few rules must be followed. Maximum of 2 blocks of empty space in walls. So like for a 2-block window or a 2-block door. You can't have any blocks, any holes in the roof at all. And dirt counts as a block. Just so you know, dirt counts as a block. So we're going to press and hold F. And here we can choose between the different forms of the block. This is the cube block. There's also the floor block, which has a different look to it, as you can see there in the ghost. There is a wall block, which is just a bit narrow there. There's a window block, which inexplicably has glass in it. There's a roof block. There's also a column block, stair block, and a ladder block. So I'm just going to use the wall block here, and I'm going to start building a little bit of a building. We're not going to get much of one out of the blocks that we have, but we need to build something. So I'm going to build something maybe over here. And so also in the F, fill the form menu here, the building menu. There also is the fill type that I was talking about. So by default, you can put 1 block at a time, like this. And that's it. And then you can put another one next to it if you want. There's also the line option, which will allow you to put 2 blocks next to each other, or multiple blocks next to each other in one build action, like that. Then there's also a rectangle. It's a 3-point action. There's a floor, which is a specialized 2-point action, and a wall 2-point action, and a wall 3-point action, a box 2-point action, and a box 3-point action. It's kind of just dependent on how you want to build. These are fun to play with a little bit. I usually stick to the first 3 with the line, the rectangle, and the point, depending on what I'm building. And then we just need to place down these logs, and we need to make this room big enough. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. Okay, I have 3 blocks in my inventory. You can see down here how much you have left in your inventory. And then I placed the last of the ones that I had. There's another 1 or 2 still available to me over there. But that's all I had to place. Alright, so now it wants me to continue collecting wood, crafting it into hewn logs, and continuing to build this. And we'll go ahead and do that, but I want to look at what this other tutorial is. The world view. So previously we were in the map view here. And you can see where we're at in the world. There's also a world layers here in the right panel, where we can see a property map by checking that box. We can see a biome map. We can highlight which the different forests are. So there's a cold forest. You can see where that is here. Ironically, it's a heat map. There's a deep ocean biome out here in the ocean. There's a desert biome. That's the yellow. The forest biome is actually the legacy. If you're playing before 9.0, they didn't have the separate cold and warm forest yet, so that's going to probably be taken out at some point. Grassland is all of this light lime green color. Ice biome is up in the mountains, naturally. Up here, that's the stark white color. Ocean is, of course, the not deep ocean part of the ocean here. That's where all the salt water is, though. We have a rainforest biome over here. That's this kind of a bold green color there. The boreal forest is also called the taiga in some situations. So just if you see taiga, it's also talking about the boreal forest. Then there's the tundra, which is up here. And then there's the warm forest, which is this olive green color. And then finally the wetland, which is up here. and that is this gray-green color. So each biome has its own unique species in it, and so you want to travel to those biomes to find those plants, to find those animals, and to find those trees. We need to look on this marker. So when I put down my campsite, it automatically created this marker for me, and this is like a homing beacon when you're in the world, and you can also make them global if you're an admin. You have to have some of the government permissions to do this actually, so that'll come later. And you can set a color for it, and you can do some different stuff to it here, and you can rename it and remove it for that matter. So here in the world, you can see that this marker is right here. It's 6 meters away. If I move away from it a little bit here into the forest, now you can see that I'm 20 meters away. So if you're out where you can't see your campsite anymore, you can still see that marker beacon and still find your way home. Let's chop down another tree. So this is another cedar tree. Actually, before we do that, let's pick up these beets that are around it, because the tree will probably damage any plants around it when it falls. So you need to be careful when you're chopping down trees. And of course, timber, and then remember to clean up your mess. And we're going to need to eat something. But I also want to get into, we're too hungry to eat, or too hungry to work. Let's eat some more. I don't need too much raw food because I'd rather cook it, but we need to go get some stone first. So I'm going to probably use cheat commands to get some more stuff for the building so we can finish that tutorial. But the concept here is to get enough wood, make enough hewn logs to build a building. Out of energy again. Nom nom. There's a little sound effect there for the picking up of the stuff. Oh, and the stockpile is full. Because I wasn't able to put those last 8 in there. This stockpile doesn't hold very much, so you have to be careful with that. Let's make some more hewn logs. Make like 20 to start with here. It's going to require a lot of labor. And I'm going to use the Alt. Actually, I'm going to use Control so you can see the 500. That put 500 in. And then I'll use the Alt to finish it. Well, it was 100 more, but that's okay. Okay, so now it's going to process those logs, and 2 logs become 1 hewn. And I'm just going to put these on the ground. You can do that too. If you right-click on the ground, it'll put those logs on the ground in a little bit of a stack here. And the good thing is the logs that are laying around like this, they're considered loose objects, and they can cause some I guess lag or performance issues with the server. But but stacking them like this is completely different. They're considered to be all the same object kind of thing, and it doesn't affect performance nearly as much. Performance is much better in Beta 9 than it used to be in some of the old versions, but nevertheless, it's still something to keep an eye on. Okay, so we are making more hewn logs, and hopefully we can get those going. I'm going to go ahead and place the ones we have, and then I probably will cheat in some more just to speed this along a little bit. So I need to make this building at a minimum 5 by 5 because of the some of the mechanics of the game that we'll get into. I actually don't know that we'll get into it. But this is kind of the smallest building you want to have to start the game, which is 5 by 5 on the outside there. So that you have a 3 by 3 building on the inside, and then you need to build it up like three blocks high. Let's yeah, let's just dev tool. I'm going to use this cheat command to build with the dev tool. And then, of course, I need to get a get at least one log. And if I use the dev tool, then I can build with it without actually spending anything, which is kind of nice. One tip, though, to save on logs is to leave space for windows and doors. I mean, we're leaving a door here, of course, but if you leave space for windows and doors, then you can kind of get by with. Oops. Sometimes it doesn't like ends and corners and such. You have to be kind of a little bit careful with that. So that's kind of a 3 tall here, but if you leave some space here like this for windows, then you don't have to spend as many blocks to build with. All right, so then I want a roof, and maybe I want to use the rectangle builder. And if I'm careful, I can hit that corner like this, and because I'm using the dev tool, I can do this all in once. But I can stretch that roof, and now I have a room completed. You view your house and quality, furniture quality here. So add furniture to your rooms to gain additional experience from it. Multiple rooms with different types of furniture, and each will give you a bonus. So there's just like there's a food meter, there's also a housing meter. And there's 4 different types of rooms. Generals like your living room area, and then a kitchen, a bedroom, and a bathroom. And each one adds to your XP multiplier, just like the food does. There are different tiers of materials, so you go from wood to something like a lumber. They need to upgrade this a little bit because this isn't accurate anymore. But there's different types of materials. Right now we're building with hewn logs, which is one of the basic ones. But as you advance as a civilization, you get different tiers of materials, and then you eventually get to see some of the stuff like we saw early on, or at the home screen, where you can build with that fancy stone and wood. And advanced crafting, yes. So as you make higher and higher materials, you need higher and higher materials to build the tables, the crafting stations out of. So advanced crafting stations will require rooms made from advanced materials. You need to create villages and cities to build all the types of rooms you'll need. So a basic table will work fine in this room that we just built, but to make some other stuff, you might need to have some higher tier buildings. All right, I'm just going to drop this in the stockpile. That's fine. So we have a little room here, a little building here, and that's good to go. There's another tutorial. You gain experience over time, even when logged off, as long as the server is running. If you're playing a solo world, the server starts and stops with the game. Experience is gained based on your diet and housing. Each level up, you gain a star, which is right here. The stars allow you to choose a specialty. So we can discover new specialties by reading scrolls, and scrolls are kind of the skill point system here in the game. So we'll press the star button here to open the specialization menu, and then each tab here along the side is a different profession. So the first one here is lumber, or it's carpenter, and carpenter has, all right, you need to go away. Has a few different specialties here, including logging, carpentry, composites, and paper milling. And then there is the chef profession, and these are all the different cooking professions you can get as a chef. This one we haven't unlocked yet, but it's engineering. And then we have farming. Gathering is the first farming skill. It always is. We have hunting, which includes butchery. We have mason, which includes mining, and then masonry and things like glassworking and pottery. And then the advanced masonry is where you make that ashlar stone. Smith hasn't been unlocked yet, but there's some smelting available rather. And then there's survivalists that everyone gets. That's self-improvement. As you do stuff, you gain in this, like using the hammer especially, and the shovel, I think. Yeah. And then finally, there is tailoring, which only has one specialty called tailoring. And that is to make some items out of cloth. So it wants us to pick something. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and just pick logging. And we just put a star here in the specialization. And that immediately gets us some benefits. First off, it gets us a 20% calorie consumption reduction when using axe tools, chopping down trees and whatnot. So instead of whatever many calories it took to chop down that tree, we're now going to use 20% less. Also, it gave us a 40% increase in damage. So instead of 10 chops to chop down a tree, now it's more like 6 to chop down a cedar tree, that is. And then logging also gives us some benefits to the calories of the labor associated with the recipes. How do I want to word this? The recipes are associated with this specialty. The calories, the labor costs us less calories, and you start out at 50%, and eventually you can get yourself down to or up to an 80% savings. You can get yourself up to 100% damage bonus, so each swing is worth 2 swings, basically, and eventually you can get yourself up to a 50% calorie reduction when using the tools. And that works for all of these sort of gathering specialties, including gathering, and I think also hunting has similar stuff. Yeah, similar stuff. Mining as well has similar stuff here, although it doesn't have the damage because damage isn't as relevant in hunting. And I guess that's those 4, right? Those 5, 4, however many. That's those. And then also the self-improvement gives you decreased calorie consumption with shovels and hammers and rock drills, which are a prospecting tool. Okay, so that's... Wait, what do we have to do here? Specialties grant large benefits to the player. Yeah, this is basically all the stuff that I literally just said, so I'm just going to skip through it. And then there's bonus talents that are available here as you... Hey, Ontario, welcome. As you skill up in your chosen skill, you get these special bonuses here, and you can only pick one. You get 2, and you can only pick 1. There's one at level 3 and one at level 6. All right, so we need to perform an action related to our specialization, like in this case, chopping a tree, which I didn't do, or I didn't wait to do. But let's go ahead and I'll chop at a tree just to show it, just to get this here. And we just gained experience, as you can see by this floating little thingy here, in logging. So now instead of having 0 experience in logging, we now have 3.3 experience in logging. It's not much, but it builds fast. And then we need to build a research table in order to get those undiscovered skills, which we're not going to actually do in this tutorial, I don't think. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do that's left in the tutorial is mining. There are a handful of early game blocks, like sandstone and granite's kind of an early game block. Oh, beans. Pick the beans. I'll also show this. Beans are another one of those plants that count as the seed as well. Let's it's pick at. Ooh, I got four pieces on the first swipe. Wow. So that broke that block of stone into 4 pieces. Usually it only breaks it into 3, but you get the bonus every once in a while and it breaks it into 4. Because when it breaks into 3, you have to break the third one into... I'm too hungry to work. Doggone it. Oh, it's breaking them all. Interesting. But you can see down here, by the way, that I didn't get any experience for doing that action. Because I don't have that skill. So I just picked up 8 stone. And I'll put it there in my stockpile. Because I need to make a campfire. And I need 12 stone. So let's go get some more stone. Down below here. Yep. One more. Ah, there it is. Okay. So this is see it's yellow highlighted. That means you can't pick this up. If I try to E on it, it won't pick up. So that means I need to chop it again because it's yellow. And then I can pick up the pieces. So usually it takes 2 swipes with the pickaxe to break apart a block of stone. All right, so now we have all the stone we need, and we can make a campfire. And we need to do the work on it, and we also need some logs, because the logs here aren't in the stockpile. You don't get, they don't get picked up automatically by the table. And I just hit E to pick those up, and I'll drop them here into the stockpile, and the tables will pick those up and use them. this project wasn't finished yet, so it picked up some of those logs that I put in there, and so did the campfire, hopefully. Did it get them all? Yes, it has all the resources it needs. So we'll get that campfire, and I'll just show you the cooking, and then I think that's kind of the end of the tutorial, which is only the very beginning of the game. There's so much more to this game, as you can see by all the professions that are available, and everything that's out here. Let's see, what else can I do? Oh, I could make a carpentry table if I had more wood and stone. A carpentry table is the first table you want to build when you are when you're a logger, because that's where you can make hewn logs, like we've been making here. Actually, maybe it actually does count. Yeah, see, these all went... Oh, yes, okay, never mind. Some of these skills, as you can see, they have a different icon here now. Because, like, the hewn log at the workbench uses generic calories, but the hewn log at the carpentry table actually uses logging. It gives logging experience. So we actually get the benefit of the calories if we do this at a carpentry table, which is why as a logger you want to build a carpentry table, because you make these same 3 hewn log recipes there and save calories and also save materials eventually. Okay, so we made a campfire. Let me go in here and find that campfire in the storage. It put it in this tiny stockpile for some reason, and I need to put it here on my toolbar, not in the backpack. Press 5 and we'll put down the campfire. I need some logs for it, so I'm just going to... I need some fuel for it, I should say. So I'm going to pick up like 4 logs. I'm going to E on the campfire and go here into the power section. This needs burnable fuel, which includes all the logs, as well as coal. The different lumber and hewn logs also are burnable, and then there's a few other items here that are burnable, including you can burn your arrows, which is kind of funny. Wood pulp is also burnable. There's a lot of burnable stuff here. Paper is burnable, which is kind of funny because otherwise paper is useless, basically useless. Plant fibers are burnable, so you can burn a lot of stuff here in your campfires. I'm just going to put the logs in here. You can see it automatically took 1 and made it a this is the fuel being consumed, and then this consumes 10 watts of fuel power every or consumes 10 watts, and each piece of cedar log contains 4,000 joules of power or of energy. 4,000 joules is 4,000 watts per second. So you can kind of then calculate how long it's going to last off these logs when you're cooking food. So just like with the other tables, the campfire is just another crafting table. We can pick out something to make, and one of the things I want to make is some charred fish. Yes, so let's make 7 charred fish. Now the fish is in my inventory, which means that it's only going to take the 1 right away, and then I need to put the rest here in the campsite so that it'll take those and cook those. But basically we're cooking fish right now on the campfire. And that's the end of the tutorial, and that's probably where we're going to move on from. Like I said, there's so much to this game that this just scratched the surface, and we've been going for an hour now, and we just scratched the surface of the game. So, oh, and the wolf is going to bite me. Or it didn't bite me. Nice. But once this fish gets cooked, we did just make 1, so I can show you the storage here. The campsite has the raw fish still in it and the cooked fish. The raw fish is worth 200 calories. Has 7 protein and 3 fat. The cooked fish is worth 400 calories, has 10 protein and 5 fat. So you can see that the cooked food is much better for you because it contains more nutrients and more calories, so you don't have to eat as much of it. So you want to cook your food as much as you can, and in fact, someone in your community needs to specialize in cooking, and that way they can get the benefits of these recipes here that take cooking labor. Not counting charred mortar, that's the generic hammer. The rest of these recipes all can be cooked by a campfire cook, and they can cook them for less calories, and then you can buy them from them or trade them, or however you set up your economy. So let me back out of the game now, out to the main menu, and I want to switch to the world that we've created for let's see here. That we've created for the Catherine Sky and Caledon community server. I'm just going to start that world up. It'll take it a minute to start up. I should have probably started up earlier. So this community server is going to be available hopefully on Wednesday the 9th when the game is released fully. You can play this game now on Steam if you already own a copy of it, or if you buy a copy of it in its public test phase. But we decided to wait until we get to until the game is out of the public test phase before we launch a server, just in case, because they're shaking out bugs and stuff right now. So it'd be better off, I think, to everyone if we wait. So I want to do. I have my KOS 9 set up here. I want to join that server. And I want to kind of fly around using an admin command and show you what this world is going to look like, and kind of talk about what our plans are for this world. The tutorial took me a bit longer than I expected it would, because it's been a while since I did the tutorial last. So I don't know how much time we're going to have to do other things, but here I can show you some of the different stuff with the character creation, actually, because I haven't actually spawned into this world yet. But of course we spawned in front of a plant, so I can't see very well. But you can adjust your skin shade, either to your own or one that you like, and your hair shade as well. I happen to have red hair, as you can tell by my little avatar character on my channel here. So I'm going to try and do this a little bit orange here. Yeah, stupid plant. Oh wait, I'm somehow moving. Oh, the animal's moving me. That was nice. Thank you, animal. And then you can adjust your eye color as well. So you can see the eyes are green there. Let's make them blue, because I happen to have blue eyes. We'll do like, I don't know, like that maybe. And I've chosen the masculine form, and you can choose between the different hairstyles here. If you happen to like having hippie hair or longer hair, shorter hair, there are just a few hairstyles, and also there's 2 facial hairstyles or no facial hair at all. The backpack, you can choose the color you want. I usually go with a brown color, maybe like that. Or you can eyedropper to pick another color if you want, which I'm going to do in a minute. There are 2 different shirts you can choose from. There's the short sleeve Henley shirt, and there's a long sleeve, is that Guijot? I don't know how to pronounce that. That it looks a little bit different there. It looks a little old-fashioned. But I like the Henley. And then you can, I don't want to change the color though. I like a green shirt. I always have a green shirt. Wally always has green. Okay, you choose the facial hair one. I don't, because I shave. There's the regular square belt that we have selected there, and there's also a cloth belt that's more like a like you tied a piece of cloth around you. I'm going to go with the regular square belt, and I'm going to choose an eyedropper. Actually, the same brown that I used-ish for the backpack, although it's not very good. Not a very good eyedropperness there. We'll go there. It's fine. They're very brown. I don't know what the deal was there. We'll go there. That's fine. Pants, you can do the regular trousers. Look like denim kind of thing. You can go with shorts, like cargo shorts, or you can go with capris, if you so choose. I usually choose the denim-looking trousers and go with a blue denim-looking color here, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. And then the boots, I'll just do the same brown as I did on the belt, maybe. And the backpack, that'll be good. And then you can have a hat too if you'd like. Oh, there's a few different styles of boots also. There's the regular old tall boots here. There is the low-top shoes, and there are garden boots. So if you choose one of those boots that you like, is it called this wrong? I don't know. They don't. That's not what they call it, so I don't know. And then there's a hat if you want a hat, and I don't, so I take the hat off. I don't want that hat, I should say. So I'm going to save that. And, of course, the tutorial pops right back up again. And I'm going to click this little X here to cancel this tutorial and skip all the tutorials because we just did them. Okay, so I'm here on this world, and I am in the rainforest, which has some papaya, and this was a king fern, I think. And then there are palm trees here. This is called a ceiba tree here. I think this is based off the Amazon rainforest, so a lot of the species are going to be Amazon rainforest-like. And there's pineapple here. And then there's other plants that I can't remember the names of that I might be able, if I give myself a stone hammer, might be able to mouse and see what those plants are. No, let's do a stone axe. Oh, whoops. Give stone axe. That's a papaya tree. Wait a minute, why am I not seeing the plant? Oh, I need a shovel? Wooden shovel. Maybe. Yes, that's a king fern. That's a taro root plant. We also have, show me the dirt. Oh, I know it. I need this. I need the scythe or the hoe, I think, maybe. Yeah, galoshes or clodhoppers. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to switch into the admin fly command here, just so we can kind of have a look around a little bit from a better vantage point. So that's what the rainforest looks like. It's got a nice thick vegetation canopy going on here. We can see the little agouti. I think it's an agouti. I'd have to use it. And then there's alligators and jaguar. There's a rabbit there for some reason hanging out here. There's a shark in the water, as you can see there. There's a crab walking on the surface of the water. And also an otter walking on the surface of the water. Or no, we'll call that swimming. And then I saw also a ram of some kind over there, which you usually don't see here. I don't think in this biome, but for some reason they're here. Maybe because they came over from the desert where you normally see them at. We have some coyotes here in the desert, or coyotes if you so choose. And then also kind of a little bit here is the grasslands bordering here. But as you can see, this is a very, very wide, large world. So there's plenty of space for everyone. Yeah, Jesus crab. There's plenty of space for everyone to come in and claim some land and spread out and do your thing. Here we're kind of entering into the cold forest over here. As you can see also on the mini map here by this darker green color, there's a bunch of different coniferous plants here. There's the fir, and there is a redwood here. There are giant redwoods like this one here, old growth redwoods. Word of warning, you probably don't want to attempt to chop one of those down in the beginning of the game. They take like 200 swings of your axe or something like that, which is 2 full axes worth of damage. By the way, tools take damage when you use them. And a stone or a wood tool only have 100 damage points, so you can only use them 100 times before they break, and then you have to repair them. Let's see, what other kinds of coniferous trees do we see here? Firs. There's spruces somewhere. I have to find them. But this is the cold forest. This is full of these coniferous trees and some ferns, and the huckleberries are here. There's camas here. The various types of plants. Granite is your sort of stone of choice in this biome. That's where you'll find a lot of granite. Here's some of the spruces, I think. Yep, this is a spruce. It's looks like a blue spruce, so it kind of makes sense. And then there's also a lot of, I think this is basalt here. I'd have to get a pickaxe out, which I guess I could. But you can see that this is that there are a lot of species in these different biomes. This is the ice, or actually probably the tundra biome here. In here we have mountain goats, and we have, that might be maybe some rabbits or something up here too, but not much. This is the more mountainous part of the world too. The colder biomes are. This is the way the world kind of spawns. So you can see we're in a mountain, and there's a valley down here below us. There's a lot of mountains here. I'm trying to watch the map as I fly around a little bit here. And now we're coming down into, I know there's another, I thought there was another type of tree here in this cold forest, but maybe I'm forgetting. I'm not remembering correctly. Also up here in the cold biome, there is an ice biome as well. It's very tiny usually, but you'll see it because it'll be like a very tiny peak, and actually this might even be an ice biome right here, where the snow is. That might just be the significance of the biome. They're all dirt. It's just this is dirt, but it just has a snow appearance because that's the way that the surface tiles look in the ice biome, kind of thing. Okay, go away. Let's see. Let's look at the map here. Wait, why is my map in 2D mode? Let's go in 3D mode. You can look at the map in 3D mode as well. So it looks like a globe. We are here. There are biomes all over the place. But I want to fly up here into this desert, because this desert is where the Catherine of Sky community, Catherine of Sky and Caladan community, are going to establish their sort of their base, their center of their civilization in this world. So we have this river here. We can call this river the Great Tentacle River. And along this river is where we're going to establish our civilization. And probably right around in here, actually. We're going to have a government building, a capital-looking building somewhere along here, along the banks of the river. We'll also have a bank here to establish a base currency called Skycoin. Yep, like Los Angeles, built in the desert. So we'll have some of that stuff here, and then we will also, this is where you'll spawn in, like I spawned in way over there somewhere. We'll spawn in right here in town. There'll be some stuff for you to do right here when you first join, and then you can move out into the world if you'd like and establish a farm or a mine or a grove or a hunter's shack, whatever you want to do out in the world. But you're also going to be entitled to a small plot here in what will be the downtown market district, where you can set up a store. And you can bring your materials back, whether that's stone or trees or food from farming, animals from hunting, and bring them back here and buy and sell in a common marketplace. So what that means is we're going to have a little bit of a minor government. The government's going to be kind of similar to the governments we've had in previous worlds, where it's more or less, to start with, more or less run by a few of us who serve as the admins of the game. But if the community would like, as the game progresses and we get kind of comfortable with the game and the map and the community we're building, we're going to open it up and allow it to be a community-run government, like the developers of Eco kind of intend. So, if that's something that you're interested in, that is setting up a government, running the government, we will definitely allow that. We just wanted to start with a little bit of a basic government to get things going. So this is kind of where we're going to start building our city at, and then we'll just expand out depending on how many players we have from here with the market area. And then any player is welcome to build anywhere in the world they would like for whatever their chosen professions are. And you can use the building, the plot you get in town here as more than your store if you would like as well. It can be your complete base of operations if you want. You can build your house there if you want. You can dig down underneath and mine to your heart's desire. But we just wanted to make sure that everyone had a place here in the central area to come back to sell your wares. So we're going to be setting that up. I was thinking about starting it tonight during the stream, but I don't think we really have time. So instead, I'm just going to fly around a little bit more and show you a couple more of the biomes and some of the things that are available in each of the biomes. So we already looked at the warm forest over here in the test world. Largely stone there is going to be largely some granite, a little bit of sandstone, and some, I think this is basalt here as well. Over here in this direction, I see that there is a wetlands. And here's the wetlands. As you can see, there are no trees in the wetlands. But what grows here is some of these like bulrush-looking plants. Beans grow well here. Rice grows well here. It's largely dotted by, what is this, shale? Yeah, I think it's shale rock. But there's also underneath, there's granite and other rocks down below too. So depending on what types of things you want to do, this might be a place to settle for mining, or it might be a place to settle for hunting, because there are some unique species here. Hi, Martin Yeomans 8, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Oh, and I also missed earlier, Sarge Marsh followed as well. Thank you both. But very few edible plants grow here besides mushrooms and beans and rice, I think. And there's some pumpkins here too, I see, but those are kind of anomalous, I think. And then the final biome that I wanted to look at, let's go into super flight speed mode here and go over here to the final biome that I think is over here, if I remember the look of this map correctly. I do not. Okay, let's look at the map view here. It's over here, which I guess we can work our way over there. Or did we start in? Wait, we started in the jungle, didn't we? Yeah, so we've looked at all the biomes. So, this world is very big. What am I at? I'm in the ground. Okay, fly up out of the ground. There we go. This game is a voxel builder in like the Minecraft style, but it has an actual ecology that you can manage and mismanage, and it also has economic functions and government and law functions, and all the above basically. So there are different professions you can choose, from carpentry types to cooking. Later, there's some engineering. There's farming. There's hunting and butchering. There's mining and masonry type stuff here. There's smelting of metals as well. Self-improvement is a generic kind of thing, and there's also tailoring. So there are a lot of things you can do in this game, and it's a very involved, very active community game. And we hope to have many players join us. If you would like to join the server that we're setting up here on this world, you can come to the KOS and Calidor Discord, which I think is that command. It is. Yeah, there are a lot of skills. And hey Kanan D, welcome. We're going to have the skill point gain on high, I think, or something fairly high, so that we can, so that you kind of have to, you need to rely on your community neighbors and stuff for other materials, so that someone can't just set up a silo and do their own thing. We want to have some collaboration. The objective of the game, ostensibly, other than building and making some really nice looking buildings, is to shoot down a meteor. And the meteor hasn't arrived yet here in our world. It'll arrive at some point in the future, and it will be a threat that we need to take care of by shooting it with lasers. But to start the game with here, we're just going to kind of start it out kind of slow and easy, and let everyone get acquainted with the game, or reacquainted with the game if you haven't played it in a long time. And we will come back to it at some point, or we will advance into the different stuff as we do, and then at some point we'll probably be visited by a meteor that we'll need to deal with. As I was mentioning earlier with the government, we plan on establishing a small basic government to start the game with, just so that we can kind of guide the initial growth of the server, and then when the community is ready to take over, if and when the community is ready to take over governorship, we'll amend the constitution and have elections, and then we'll be ready to take things over. So in the game, miners are going to pick up the stone, like this sandstone here that's in orangey color. There's granite in probably basalt there off in the distance in the mountain there. There's limestone that you can find usually in grassland areas. There's shale that we saw a little bit ago in the wetlands area, and it's also found in the warm forest, I think. And then there's gneiss, which is found very deep underground. It's like an igneous rock. And I'm forgetting one, I think. No, maybe not. That might be it. There's 6 different types of rock, and there are 10 different types of trees or tree-like objects, including saguaro cacti. Did I not say limestone? I thought I did. The saguaro cacti here in the desert, also these Joshua knot trees. Here in the desert, we saw the deciduous trees. You can see there are the coniferous trees that are off in the distance in the cold forest areas. The warmer forest and grassland areas have deciduous trees, and then there are tropical trees in the rainforest. So I think I'm going to wrap up here. I was going to start doing some initial building, but we just kind of ran out of time. Initial building of the Capitol building and the bank building and such. But if you are interested in playing this game and interested in playing with us, join the KOS and Calendar and Discord, as I linked there just a moment ago, and watch the Eco channel and the Community Game Info channel for announcements and information on the server itself. But we hope to have it ready to launch by Wednesday, so that when the game comes out of the public test and into regular beta, then we will be ready to accept players. As I mentioned, we have some setup to do, but we should be pretty close to ready to go by Wednesday. The only other thing that I could do, if you were interested, is I could boot up my my personal test world that I've done. If anyone's interested in seeing some of the new stuff, some of the different tables and their functionality, if you're interested in that, let me know in the chat here, and I can try and boot that world up. Otherwise, I think we'll probably just wrap the stream up here, and move on and wait until we see those tables and those processes in the game as the player. So feel free, if you join that Discord, to ping me if you have questions, or DM me if you have questions. I'm more than willing to answer any questions about the game. I have probably close to 1,000 hours in this game, all told. Most of them on Steam, some of them not, for various reasons. Mostly 1 or 2 reasons, both good. And so I'm fairly knowledgeable about this game and all the professions that are involved in it. So yeah, like I said, by all means, feel free to DM me in Discord. Sneaky nefarious reasons. Not all of them. Some of them have to do with testing out new versions before we upgraded a server in the middle of server iteration back in the past. But yeah. So, all right, so let's wrap it up. I don't know if there's anybody available to raid tonight. I don't think so. I doubt. Well, guess we can see if anyone's playing Eco. Actually, there's somebody playing on the Ecoverse server. So we could raid that person, I suppose. That mountain is really low. Well, we lowered all the terrain, by the way. The terrain is very, very rugged in this version of the game. So we've lowered the terrain a little bit, smoothed it out a little bit, and this is still fairly uneven. Like, there's no plains in the way the terrain generates now. It's all ups and downs. So we flattened it a little bit to try and make it a little bit more hospitable to players, because moving back and forth in a steep terrain world is kind of tough to start the game. So we flattened it a little bit, we lowered the terrain a little bit, and now we're getting ready to play the game. So let me set up the raid here, and we'll raid Eco vs. Loki. Maybe. It apparently won't let me. Well, maybe we won't be raiding tonight, because it won't let me raid them. Maybe they don't have raids. They're not allowing raids or something. So I guess we're just going to wrap up the way that we are here. And I hope to see those of you who have joined us here in the stream tonight. I hope to see you in Eco on Wednesday. Thanks for coming, everyone. Have a good one. Bye for now.